Imagine waking up. You're in free fall, just plummeting towards some unknown world, and you have absolutely no memory, none, of how you even got there.
Yeah, just pure confusion.
And then picture this. You're surrounded by strangers, right? But these aren't just any strangers. Each one, in their own way, is incredibly lethal.
A chilling thought.
That scenario, that immediate jarring plunge into total chaos, well, that's precisely where our deep dive begins today.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome, fellow knowledge seekers, to the deep dive. Today we're taking, I think, a really fascinating and pretty intense journey into a bold reimagining of a true classic.
It really is.
We're drawing our insights today from the really visceral narrative of the 2010 film Predators.
And this isn't just going to be, a simple film summary. Our mission today, it's more of a deep exploration, really, of psychology, human and alien psychology, pushed right to their absolute limit under just extreme pressure.
Extreme is the word.
Definitely. We're going to try and unpack the raw layers of survival instinct, the nuances of the hunt itself, and what it actually means to be both the predator and the prey in a situation where those lines get incredibly blurry.
Right, they shift constantly.
They do. And what's fascinating here, I think, is how the story itself is constructed. It's almost designed, really, to peel back these layers for you, the observer, showing some pretty uncomfortable truths, maybe, about ourselves and the nature of the hunt.
Yeah, it holds up a mirror in some ways. So our source material for this dive, it gives us this really elaborate story summary. It's packed with specific details, about the characters, the key events, and honestly, some genuinely surprising twists along the way.
Oh, definitely some twists.
So we'll be pulling out those key bits of knowledge, those insights, to help us all understand the intricate design of this reimagined hunt, and maybe, just maybe, what it reveals about our own human experience.
That's good.
So let's unpack this. Let's get ready for a journey right into the heart of the ultimate game.
Let's do it.
Okay, so the film, it wastes absolutely zero time. We, just like Royce, who's kind of our main protagonist here.
The mercenary.
Right. We're dropped, quite literally, right into the middle of chaos. He wakes up midair, just falling.
Instantly disoriented.
Totally. A parachute deploys, sending him spiraling down into this incredibly dense, completely unfamiliar jungle. It's immediate, it's visceral, it's total disorientation.
Yeah, you feel it right away.
He hits the ground hard, obviously shaken up, grappling not just with the shock of, where he is, but also with this terrifying lack of memory. How did I get here? What happened?
The ultimate what just happened moment.
Exactly. But he's not alone for long. Soon, you see more parachutes popping open in this weird alien sky, and they're carrying other people, bewildered, angry, and you quickly realize equally dangerous individuals.
Yeah, a very specific group.
Each one crashing down into the same hostile place. This isn't, some kind of rescue mission. It feels calculated. It's a drop-off.
A delivery, almost.
Right. And that immediate psychological impact. I mean,
Yeah.
being abducted like that, so abruptly, so disorienting. It's got to be profound, right?
Absolutely. It just strips away everything, your control, your grounding. It instantly sets this tone of extreme vulnerability.
Yeah, but also extreme danger because
Yeah.
of who these people are.
Exactly. It's that paradox. So you, the viewer, you're not just watching it unfold. You're kind of plunged into that primal fear, too, feeling that loss of autonomy right alongside them.
It's a really effective way to start.
Yeah.
Just pure, overwhelming dread from minute one.
Masterclass in it, really. And from that terrifying start, the film then pretty systematically introduces us to this incredibly diverse but undeniably deadly group of people.
Right, the ensemble.
Yeah. So we meet Isabel. She's an Israeli sniper. You immediately get a sense of her precision, her discipline, but also this kind of haunted pragmatism.
She seems very focused.
Very. Then there's Stans. He's a death row inmate. And he just radiates this raw, unpredictable violence, the kind of guy who might be as dangerous to his allies as anyone else.
Yeah, a real wild card.
Definitely. Then Mombasa, he's an officer from an African death squad. He brings this chillingly efficient, almost detached approach to combat, a man who clearly understands brutality on a deep level.
Seen a lot, you can tell.
Anzo, the silent Yakuza enforcer, he just carries this aura of lethal discipline, almost ancient tradition, like a quiet storm brewing.
Very intense presence.
Very. Nikolai, the Russian Spetsnaz soldier, he embodies brute strength, elite military training, a really formidable presence.
The heavy hitter.
You could say that. Cuchillo, a Mexican drug cartel enforcer. He showcases more of a street-level ruthlessness, A survivor from a different kind of jungle, the urban one.
Right, different skill set, but just as deadly.
Exactly. And finally, Edwin. He seems totally out of place. The doctor, nervous demeanor. And initially you think, okay, here's the unfortunate civilian, the one who doesn't belong, the outlier.
The odd one out, yeah.
And Royce, with his, keen, tactical mind, he pretty quickly figures out this isn't random. They weren't just grabbed by chance.
No way.
They were chosen, selected. Their shared trait isn't that they're victims, it's their combat skills, or maybe even more chillingly, their killer instincts.
Right, that reframes everything, doesn't it? They're not just victims anymore, they're participants, even if they didn't sign up for it.
Precisely. Unwilling participants in this macabre intergalactic game. And the selection criteria, it raises a really fascinating and honestly pretty unsettling question.
Which is?
What does it tell you about the hunters? Their philosophy. It suggests this deliberate, highly sophisticated search for the most formidable, the most aggressive, the most lethal human specimens.
They want a challenge.
More than just a challenge. It's like elevating their sport, ensuring the prey offers the ultimate test, pushing the boundaries of what a hunt can even be. It implies almost a connoisseur's taste for the deadliest game available.
Wow. A connoisseur's taste. That's a chilling way to put it. And as if, being abducted and dropped onto an unknown planet isn't bad enough.
Right. How could it get worse?
Then the real horror starts to dawn on them. They are not on Earth.
Yeah, and it's not like a big sign flashes or anything.
No, it's gradual. It's insidious almost.
Oh.
The sun. It just hangs there in the sky. Static. It never moves.
This is just impossible, right, for us?
Totally impossible. It defies every natural law they know. And then, when night eventually falls, the sky reveals these strange, alien planetary alignments, constellations that are completely foreign.
That seals it.
That confirms their worst fear. They are stranded, not just in some remote jungle, but on an alien game reserve planet. A huge, untamed wilderness designed meticulously just for hunting.
And they are the game.
They are unequivocally the prey. Can you just imagine the sheer gut-wrenching horror of that realization sinking in?
It's hard to grasp.
Every survival instinct, every reference point, any comforting idea of home gone, stripped away. What does it even mean for survival when the planet itself is alien? When the rules are completely unknown? When the ground you're walking on might just be another part of the trap?
It turns everything upside down. It's a complete inversion of what they, and frankly, what you as the observer expect from, like, a wilderness survival story.
Yeah, it's not just watch out for the bear.
Exactly. It's not just facing one dangerous creature. It's facing an entire ecosystem engineered, designed for their death.
Wow.
And connecting this to the bigger picture, right? This whole game reserve reveal. It establishes this key theme that runs through the whole film, the complete inversion of expectation. Not just for them, but for us, the audience.
How so?
Well, this isn't just a hunt. It's a meticulously designed arena, a bespoke death trap. That dramatically raises the stakes. The environment isn't neutral, it's an active participant, custom built for the predator's sport.
The planet itself is part of the hunt.
Precisely. This place, with its weird sun and alien stars, it's not just a location, it's a statement. It basically declares, your rules, Earth rules, they don't apply here anymore.
Okay, yeah, that definitely amps up the dread.
It totally does. It amplifies that sense of helplessness, forcing the characters and us watching to throw out every assumption about safety, about how a fight should go, about what's fair. It transforms it from just a chase into this complex existential struggle where potentially every element of their reality has been weaponized against them.
Even the air they breathe, potentially.
Could be. It's really an ingenious narrative device. It maximizes that feeling of being hunted, of being utterly, completely outmatched.
Okay, so before the main antagonists, the predators we know, even make their big entrance.
Right, because they don't show up immediately.
No. The group is already facing this barrage of other dangers. Indigenous alien creatures, environmental hazards. It's not just a single-minded pursuit. It feels more like a gauntlet.
Yeah, like pre-hunt challenges, thinning the herd, testing them.
Exactly. They stumble upon these trap-setting creatures. You don't really see them, but they leave these nasty traps that ensnare you.
Yeah.
Shows how deadly this ecosystem is.
Little unseen dangers everywhere.
Then there are the alien hounds, these vicious, fast beasts that seem to act as the predator's initial scouts or attack dogs. They're relentless, adding this layer of just primal terror.
Fast and mean.
And beyond the creatures, the terrain itself is a threat. Dense, claustrophobic jungle, hidden pitfalls, who knows what else lurking around.
Just the environment is trying to kill you?
Pretty much. And these early challenges, before the super predators even appear, they feel crucial. They force this, remember, these are some of the most dangerous antisocial people from Earth, they force them to start bonding.
Out of sheer necessity.
Pure necessity. It's like this brutal crucible for their initial cohesion.
Mm-hmm.
They have to rely on each other, even though they inherently distrust each other because they're all dangerous.
Learn to fight together or die alone. Simple as that.
Yeah. This initial phase really sets up the desperate, uneasy alliances that are going to define their struggle later on.
And that shared crucible, that trial by fire, it really sets the stage perfectly for the arrival of the real threat.
The main event.
The main event. The three super predators. And they're presented as, well, a more evolved, definitely more brutal version of the species we might know.
Bigger, meaner.
Yeah, our source details them as being notably larger, far more formidable than, say, the classic Predator from the '87 film.
Yeah.
And each one of these hunters brings a unique, specialized approach to the hunt, which elevates it, beyond just brute force into something more tactical, more sophisticated.
Okay, so break down these three for us.
All right. First, you've got the tracker predator. This one's distinguished by its use of those alien dogs we mentioned.
The hounds.
Right, the hounds. Fierce, agile creatures that help flesh out and corner the prey. So this suggests a hunting philosophy that values coordinated attacks, relentless pursuit, maybe a kind of primal pack hunting efficiency.
Using backup.
And using the hounds' maybe superior tracking abilities to outgun their target. Then second, we have the falconer predator. This one employs a mechanical aerial drone. This drone gives it unparalleled recon strategic targeting from above. It highlights a more cerebral, technologically reliant, maybe even detached approach to the hunt.
The brains of the operation.
You could see it that way. The falconer is like the intellectual hunter, observing, planning, striking from an advantage, precision over raw power.
Okay, and the third one.
And finally, the berserker predator, described as the most vicious of the trio. This one just embodies raw, unbridled aggression and power, prefers direct, overwhelming force.
The muscle.
Definitely the muscle. This predator is like a force of nature, just devastating anything in its path. Its methods suggest a focus on breaking the prey, physically and psychologically, through sheer, terrifying dominance.
Wow. So, tracker, falconer, berserker.
Pretty specialized.
Extremely. And what does that specialization tell us, about their hunting philosophy, their species intelligence?
What do you think? Well, it speaks volumes, I think, about their sophisticated understanding of strategy, their dedication to refining the art of the hunt, maybe even different schools of thought within their culture about what makes the perfect kill.
Different factions, almost?
Could be. It's clearly not just about killing. It's about the challenge, the tactical deployment of resources, the methodical breaking down of their prey. And this raises an important question for you, the listener. How does this specialized approach elevate the hunt beyond simple survival for the humans?
Turns it into a game.
A deadly, intricate game that tests every single facet of their being. It becomes this complex psychological chess match where the very things that made them exceptional killers back on Earth are the exact reasons they were chosen as the ultimate prey here.
Right, their strengths become their target identifier. That's heavy. Okay, now here's where things get, for me at least, exceptionally interesting. And for anyone who follows the classic Predator lore, this was a genuine surprise.
Oh yeah, this was big.
Amidst these terrifying super predators, the group stumbles upon an original classic predator, like the one from the first movie.
The '87 model, so to speak.
Exactly. But this one is different. It's not hunting. It's tied up, mutilated, clearly a captive of the super predators.
Yeah, strung up like a trophy almost.
It's a massive revelation within the Predator universe, isn't it? It immediately forces you to reconsider everything you thought you knew about them. What are the complexities of this alien culture?
Totally. What does this internal conflict suggest? I mean, is it a power struggle between different factions, maybe different generations?
Like the old ways versus the new ways?
Could be. Or a schism over hunting philosophies. Are these super predators a newer, maybe more brutal variant that's at odds with the traditional ways of their ancestors?
You could definitely theorize that. Maybe the classic predator represents some older, more honorable code of the hunt.
Right, the honor code we saw hints of before.
And he's been captured by these younger, more technologically advanced, maybe just more ruthless super predators who see his methods as, I don't know, obsolete, weak.
It opens up this whole new layer of intrigue, doesn't it? It suggests the monsters aren't just a monolith. They're a society with internal politics, divisions, maybe even hierarchy or rebellion.
It makes them so much more complex than just alien hunters.
Absolutely. It profoundly deepens the antagonists, moves them way beyond just generic alien threats into the realm of complex, albeit terrifying, beings with their own internal struggles and history.
Yeah, and what's truly fascinating, like you said, is how much depth this adds.
Mm.
They're not just faceless monsters driven by pure instinct anymore.
Right, showing internal strife. It creates this more layered, complex alien society. Suggests a rich history, evolving dynamics, and makes them more than just targets for our heroes to shoot at.
Hints at this long tradition of the hunt, but also maybe deviations, advancements, or maybe even regressions, depending on your view, within their own species. That's compelling stuff for anyone watching.
It really subverts those typical sci-fi tropes, you
Right.
know, where the alien threat is usually just this single unified force.
Yeah, the hive mind or whatever.
Exactly. This forces you to think about their civilization not as a monolith, but as something with nuances, rivalries, possibly even different ethical codes or interpretations of their own culture. It adds this chilling layer of otherness that feels both familiar in its conflict, but terrifyingly alien in its context.
Okay, so the hunt progresses, and inevitably, the grim reality sets in. People start dying.
Yeah, the body count starts rising.
And each death, it isn't just ticking off a box. It serves to highlight the different, often harrowing ways these individuals confront their doom. These aren't random killings. They feel calculated by the predators. And each death tells us something about human nature under that extreme pressure.
How they face the end.
Exactly. So Cuchillo, the cartel enforcer, he ends up being used as bait, just grisly bait, a tactical move by the predators to draw out the others.
Dehumanizing. Cold.
Totally underscores their cunning and cruelty, reduces this dangerous man to just a tool in their game. Then Mombasa, the African death squad officer, he meets a swift, brutal end, ambushed with chilling efficiency.
The thick and final.
Yeah, it's a testament to the predator's stealth and lethality, a stark reminder that even the most seasoned, ruthless killers from Earth are just outmatched here.
Oh, match for this arena.
Then there stands the death row inmate. He goes out in this blaze of defiant fury. His last act is this desperate, visceral stab at a predator as he's falling.
A final screw you.
Exactly. A burst of unexpected, almost noble courage from a character who started out seeming purely self-serving and reprehensible.
Yeah, it's a shocking moment. Makes you question things.
It does. And Hanzo, the silent Yakuza guy, he delivers one of the most memorable deaths, I think. He engages in this silent, almost balletic samurai-style duel with the falconer predator.
Yeah, that scene is amazing. Pure skill versus pure skill.
It's a testament to his discipline, his code. He actually manages to kill the falconer predator, but he dies in the process. This moment of unexpected grace and sticking to his code, even facing certain death, it's such a contrast to all the brutality.
A moment of honor amidst the chaos.
So how do these different deaths, showcase the diverse ways humans confront this, from being used as bait to raw defiance to this kind of honorable sacrifice?
Well, they really demonstrate the full spectrum, don't they? Often contradictory spectrum of human response when pushed right to the absolute limit. Fear, anger, acceptance, defiance, honor. It's all there.
Yeah, it really is.
And as these brutal encounters are thinning the ranks, we see this really crucial evolution happening in Royce's character.
Right, the pragmatic mercenary.
Initially, yeah, he's portrayed as cold, utterly pragmatic, just driven by pure survival instinct, doesn't seem to care much about the others. The ultimate loner, focused only on getting himself out.
Standard tough guy trope, almost.
Kind of. But as the film goes on, there's this subtle but really significant transformation. Slowly, almost without you realizing it at first, he starts to care about the group. Particularly forms this tentative bond with Isabel, the sniper.
Yeah, you see moments between them.
This shift makes him more human, more relatable, adds this layer of emotional complexity beneath that hardened exterior. And it's during this time, as they're connecting, that Isabel drops that crucial piece of lore.
The connection to the first movie.
Exactly. She confirms she knows about the 1987 mission from the original Predator film. It's a direct acknowledgement that these creatures, or their kind, have been encountered before. On Earth.
Not just an Easter egg, then.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, no.
It cements the fact that this isn't Earth's first rodeo with these things. It adds this deep layer of dread and continuity to the whole narrative, makes you, the audience, realize the stakes are even higher.
Right, it connects this specific hunt to this larger, ongoing threat across the galaxy. Confirms it's not isolated, it's a pattern. Terrifying.
And this progression in Royce's character, it's vital. It stops being just a survival story and becomes more about, well, humanity reemerging even in the face of this primal terror, which raises an important question for us to think about.
Which is?
Does this newfound empathy, this connection, make Royce stronger? Or does it make him more vulnerable in this environment?
Good question. Carrying adds risk,
Right.
distraction.
It definitely adds risk, potential distraction, potential liability. But maybe it also provides a more powerful motivation, something beyond just saving his own skin. Arguably, it could make him more resourceful, more determined in the long run. It adds a kind of moral dimension to his desperate fight.
Yeah, that makes sense. It complicates things for him, but maybe in a necessary way.
Okay.
Okay, so just when you think the alien threat is the only real danger,
Uh-oh.
the film throws in some truly chilling human betrayals, reminding us that sometimes, yeah, the most dangerous game isn't played by creatures from outer space.
The monster within.
Exactly. This speaks volumes about what fear and isolation can do. The group encounters Noland. Lawrence Fishburne plays him.
Great casting.
He's a former military guy who somehow, unbelievably, has survived for years on this planet.
Mm.
But that long isolation has pushed him right over the edge into madness and paranoia.
He's cracked.
Completely. He pretends to offer them shelter, plays the grizzled survivor role, but it's all a setup, a trap. His real plan is to kill them and take their stuff.
Desperation turning monstrous.
It highlights how extreme circumstances can just erode humanity, turning a man into something almost as terrifying as the predators hunting them. He's this stark warning of the psychological toll this planet takes.
And how does he end up?
Ironically, the predators show up while he's trying to trap the others, and they get him instead. Proves that even a seasoned survivor can fall victim to his own warped mind, his own messed up tactics.
Wow. Live by the sword, die by the predator claw.
Pretty much. But Nolan's madness, that's just the appetizer, really.
Oh, there's more.
Oh, yeah. The main course of human depravity comes from Edwin. Remember him, the seemingly weak, nervous doctor.
The one who seemed totally out of place.
That's the one, presented as the most vulnerable, maybe the one you feel sympathy for. The hapless civilian caught up in this nightmare.
Yeah, the audience surrogate, almost.
But in this truly shocking, really unsettling reveal, it turns out Edwin is actually a serial killer back on Earth.
No way.
Yes way. He wasn't chosen for combat skills or strength or military training. He was chosen specifically for his twisted mind, his capacity for cold, calculated violence.
So the predators weren't just hunting soldiers.
They were hunting killers of all kinds. The strong, yes, but also the cunningly evil. The darkest reflections of humanity. It's a chilling revelation.
That is deeply unsettling. What happens with him?
He tries to take advantage of the chaos, poisons Nikolai, the Russian soldier. But Nikolai, in this incredible final act of self-sacrifice and pure defiance, manages to trigger a claymore mine he'd set up, taking Edwin out with him before he succumbs to the poison.
Wow. A final act of defiance.
Yeah. So what does all this mean for us watching? The film delivers this potent, really uncomfortable truth. The most dangerous predators aren't always the alien ones.
Sometimes they look just like us.
Exactly. It forces us to confront the darker sides of human nature, showing how our own species can harbor monsters just as terrifying, maybe more so, than creatures from another world.
And it deepens the predator's motives too, right?
Absolutely. It offers this profound, disturbing insight. Their selection criteria went way beyond just physical strength. It delved into the very essence of what makes a killer, whether they're alien or human. Suggests they're looking not just for a physical challenge, but maybe a psychological one too, seeking out the darkest reflections of themselves and their prey.
That twist fundamentally redefines what it means to be a predator in this whole universe. Chilling stuff.
Truly chilling.
Okay, so with their numbers seriously dwindling now and the ultimate hunt really closing in, Royce reveals this desperate but incredibly cunning plan. A real gamble.
What does he decide to do?
He decides to free the classic predator, the one they found tied up, mutilated by the super predators earlier.
Go back for him. Why?
His audacious plan is to leverage that internal conflict within the predator species itself. He's hoping the classic predator, once freed, will activate its ship to try and escape.
Ah, creating a diversion.
Exactly. Or maybe even providing a means for Royce and Isabel to follow, or at the very least, gain a moment of crucial breathing room. This alliance, however temporary, however dangerous.
Yeah, teaming up with a predator seems risky.
Hugely risky. But it signifies this desperate attempt to turn the enemy's own conflicts against them. A true Hail Mary pass. And what does this move tell us about Royce's evolution, his leadership, his mastery of survival?
He's thinking strategically now, not just reacting.
Exactly. It shows this remarkable shift from just pure self-preservation to a much more calculated, high-stakes tactical play. He's not just reacting to the hunt anymore. He's anticipating, manipulating, taking these audacious risks. It shows his growth as a leader, as a strategist, willing to make an enemy of his enemy to survive.
exploiting any weakness he can find.
Even within the predators themselves, it's a stark testament to his ruthless pragmatism, honed to a razor's edge by this point.
Okay, so he frees the classic predator,
Mhm.
and this leads to the ultimate showdown, right?
Oh, yeah. A truly brutal, really impactful battle that just shakes the alien world. The classic predator, once free, immediately goes after the berserker predator,
The big bad one.
the big bad one. And it is a ferocious, no-holds-barred fight.
Hmm.
Visceral, destructive, a real clash between like the traditional predator and this new ruthless evolution.
Old guard versus new guard.
Exactly. And it ends with the classic predator's tragic death, but also, crucially,
The ship gets destroyed.
the ship gets destroyed in the fight. A Pyrrhic victory, really. It eliminates the berserker's main rival, but leaves Royce and Isabel stranded once more, taking away their primary hope of escape.
Great. Back to square one, almost. But Royce isn't done yet.
Not even close.
Yeah.
And this next bit is a fantastic homage and a clear nod, a resonant nod to Dutch from the original '87 film. He returns covered head to toe in mud, brilliantly obscuring his thermal signature from the remaining predator, a classic survival tactic against a technologically superior enemy. This is it, his final desperate stand. A one-man war against this seemingly insurmountable threat.
For the final battle.
A final battle, an intense one-on-one confrontation with the berserker predator. And Royce, having learned from everything he's seen, everything he's been through, the mistakes of others, he uses every bit of his ingenuity and, frankly, brute force.
Cunning traps.
Cunning traps, leverages the dense alien environment, and in a truly shocking, audacious move, he even uses Edwin's body as bait.
Wow. Grim but effective.
Grim but ruthlessly effective, a testament to his absolute will to survive. And through sheer determination, clever tactics, and just this primal will to live, Royce ultimately defeats the seemingly unbeatable foe, the most vicious of the super predators. He becomes the ultimate survivor.
It's not just strength, is it? It's cunning, adaptation.
Totally. What's fascinating here is exactly that. How Royce adapts, uses everything at his disposal, deception, the environment itself. He truly embodies the ultimate survivor. He's not just a soldier. He's a strategist, a pragmatist, a brutal realist when he needs to be.
Doesn't fight fair. Fights to win.
Fights to win, using whatever grim tools are available, even the morally ambiguous ones, like using Edwin's body. And this raises that important question for us again. What really separates Royce from the other prey? What allowed him to endure when all these other incredibly dangerous people fell?
His adaptability. His ruthlessness.
I think it's his willingness to shed maybe all moral pretense when necessary, his raw adaptability, and his unwavering, almost terrifying focus on the objective survival at any cost. He becomes, in a way, as much a predator as the beings hunting him. Not necessarily in their terms, but in his own cunning, relentless pursuit of life.
He demonstrates that in the ultimate game, sometimes you have to descend to the same primal level as your hunter to win.
Precisely. Survival often demands that willingness.
Okay, so the berserker predator is finally defeated. Royce and Isabel are the last ones standing, a testament to their resilience, their sheer will against just unimaginable horror.
They made it.
But their ordeal, as the film chillingly reveals right in the final moments, it is far from over.
Oh, that ending shot.
As they look up at the sky, exhausted but alive, what do they see? A terrifyingly familiar sight. More parachutes, falling,
New prey arriving.
new prey arriving on the planet. It signals that the hunt, this whole operation, it's continuous. It's a never-ending cycle. A relentless machine that just demands a constant supply of victims for the game.
The game never stops.
And Royce's final line, just resolute, determined. We need to get off this planet. It leaves you, the viewer, with this powerful sense of ongoing struggle, ongoing determination. It's not really an ending, is it?
No, it's a pause. A brief respite before the next wave hits them. It's a powerful affirmation of that endless fight for survival against this unyielding force.
Yeah, definitely leaves you thinking.
So we've really journeyed through quite a remarkable reimagining of the Predator lore here. We've witnessed the brutal evolution of the hunt itself, the incredibly diverse responses to that ultimate terror, and yeah, the surprising, often deeply uncomfortable darkness within human nature.
A lot to unpack.
A lot. We saw how what looks like a straightforward survival story actually becomes this complex study of instinct, adaptation, unforeseen alliances, even betrayal. The film meticulously crafts this narrative where those lines between predator and prey just constantly blur, not just between those species, but maybe more profoundly within humanity itself.
Right, Nolan and Edwin really highlight that.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, maybe it's a testament to how knowledge, even knowledge we get from a fictional story like this, can reveal some pretty universal truths. Truths about survival, cunning, about the depths of both heroism and, well, depravity that can emerge under extreme pressure.
It definitely challenges your assumptions about who the real monsters are, what it means to be hunted.
Yeah, it does.
So what does this all mean for us, for you listening? This deep dive into predators, it isn't just about dissecting a movie, is it? It feels like it taps into that constant human struggle against overwhelming odds, those shifting definitions of predator and prey, and maybe even the relentless pursuit of knowledge, trying to understand, even when faced with the truly unknown.
It asks you to consider what it truly means to be a survivor. How far would you go? How far should you go when everything, absolutely everything, is on the line?
It's a stark reminder, too, like we said, that sometimes the greatest challenges, the greatest threats, they don't come from external forces, from aliens. Sometimes they come from within ourselves or from within our own species.
Yeah, sobering thought.
So as Royce and Isabel look up at those new parachutes falling, facing yet another wave, another cycle of the hunt, maybe consider this. In our own lives, when does the hunt truly end? And when do we, like Royce, simply have to shift our focus, find a new way to survive, and overcome whatever next challenge falls unexpectedly from the sky?
Something to mull over.
Definitely something for you to mull over until our next deep dive.